Hello my treasures, it's time to send mercenaries off with a bang with a Wrathion based team. This team was given to me by Masarpuppet, but this is something that I really did want to revisit for the last mercenary video on the channel. My previous Wrathion build, which was over a year ago, was the highest viewed video for the game mode I ever had on the channel. So I figured what better way to send off the game mode by using him and two of the remaining mercenaries that we haven't covered before in the form of Tamsin and Tess. This team is a little bit more complicated than the normal build where you're going to be changing out the order of the mercenaries that you put down depending on the matchup. That most of the time you're going to be slamming down Tamsin, Vol'jin, and Azshara first and then bringing in Wrathion after you put down Lady Vashj. But there are going to be a few matchups where you're going to want to put Talton Wrathion instead if your opponent has a lot of caster. Overall, the idea behind the build is to be using the Shadow Core to speed up Wrathion so you can scale up his third ability quickly so he can gain a bunch of HP, thus allowing him to use the evolved version of it later on in the game, while also using Azshara and Lady Vashj as ways to scale up his damage even further, because Mage Paramount actually scales all damage instead of just Shadow. Now, for the Mercenary by Mercenary Breakdown, the first one is going to be Tamsin. We are going to be using Shadow Rune as her equipment to increase the damage on her first ability, and mainly swapping between Shadow Bolt and Veil of Shadows depending on how many Shadow Mercs you have left alive. Vol'jin is the second mercenary on the team with Ring of Haste as his equipment, mainly going to be using Shadow Shock on his first turn, then swapping between Curse of Weakness and Shadow Surge. Wrathion is the third mercenary, not always the third one you put down. We're using Black Dragon Scales to allow him to have some type of bleed on our opponents' Mercs, and then basically swapping between Tail Swipe and True Form and its upgraded form. Azshara is the fourth mercenary. We're using Xylith as her equipment, and then mainly going to be swapping between Shifting Tides and Rebuke. Though once you get Wrathion on the board, Mage Paramount is incredibly strong. Lady Vashj is the fifth mercenary on the team. We're using Fel Cauldron to increase the Fel damage that we can output, and then using Reflective Shot as her main ability, while using Handmaiden's Poison in order to snipe some low HP Mercs. And finally, we have Tess as the last mercenary, using Steadfast Convictions as her equipment, and mainly going to be swapping between Yoink and Princess Power and its upgraded form. Now, with that all being said, let's look at some game. Okay, let's see what this person has in store for us. Let's put down 3 casters is usually just the way to go in this team, to be honest. There are a few cases where Wrathion does feel a little bit better in the starting lineup, but 90% of the games, he's just better on the bench, because it takes 2 turns for his ability to come off cooldown. Okay, so this is going to be arcane. We're going to focus down Medivh first, just because I don't want them to have a protector if we do slam down Wrathion. And we can also speed up or slow down Khadgar a little bit. We don't need that additional hit on Medivh, because Azshara should be able to deal with it. Vol'jin goes bye-bye. We could either put down Wrathion next or Vashj. Wrathion is probably the safer bet. Yeah, so that's his Sarah next. We AoE, I guess, and we can't use True Form yet. So I guess we focus down Khadgar next. Not really too worried about keeping up Ysera. I know we have the 2 casters, but getting rid of Khadgar allows them to stop scaling really quickly, which is what we want. So I guess Ysera is probably the next one that we go after. He probably won't end up gone this turn, but yeah, Azshara is oh, never mind. I was going to say Azshara actually is going to live, but sadly that double on use isn't going to let her live. But we do have this good old Lady Vashj and to scale up our damage even more. We're going to unleash Fel on them, and we can focus down Tyrande, I think, next. Because in theory, if we get Tyrande off the board, we don't have to worry about them using Bane twice. And we should actually be able to just AoE everything off the... Oh, never mind. Tyrande actually does live. Good news, though, is no more healing. Never mind. They could use the healing on Bane next. Alright, so I think the trick here is if I catch it. I don't think I catch it. Maybe I do. Because we can attack with that into there, then hope and this bleed goes off before they do any type of healing. And they didn't go for the healing, they went for the combo. That's good for us. Because, sure, we're losing one merc or two mercs here, but good old Tess should allow us to finish it off. And the healing ability shouldn't be able to heal for that much this turn. We can just repeat 5 abilities because that's not going to be any bit broken, right? Let's see what our luck is like. Veil of Shadows, Handmaiden's Poison. Okay, I guess we got it. Okay, 3 casters. Let's see what they have in store for us. Fire? Interesting. Fire or Celestials? I mean, technically both. I kind of want to, yeah, make Chi slower, then focus down Chi first. Because if they don't have any other fire mercs, then Geddon is just kind of useless. Oof, that is one big hit. So I guess Queen Azshara next. Let's do the AoE combo and I guess attack. We probably actually should have used Tail Swipe there, to be honest, but it is what it is. Oh, actually, that makes sense too. Because then we get rid of the Merc completely. And then we'll slam down Vashj next. Let's use True Form. Try to get rid of Zwin next, I think. Because they're probably gonna, yeah, Divine Shield everything up. Then they'll attack into that. That gets rid of that. Pop the Divine Shield, which is always nice. And then we have Tess. Don't have enough to use her 3rd ability yet. We need 4 more other abilities, which isn't the best news for us. 50 damage there. They're going after Vashj. That actually kind of makes sense. Actually attacking okay. I would have expected less damage taken. The reason I say that is less damage taken actually kind of counters our plan completely. Okay, that is also in our mercenary that kind of counters our team completely depending on how they do everything. Swapping, that's fine. Restoring some HP. There. Perfect. Okay, so now we have 3 mercenaries to deal with 2 mercenaries on board. We have our AoE and we do have our ramp. I think we did use 4 abilities there, which is always nice. Yeah, so let's get rid of Yulong first, because that should be the highest damage output they have. Though depending... Okay, they're actually using Celestial Breath. I was going to say, depending on if they used Celestial Breath or they used 2nd ability on you, or yeah, you on Long Shin, could depend on how this goes. Come on. Okay, that's 1 done. Just have to deal with the other 2, which aren't taking any damage, and then they can't heal, which literally does nothing for us. I guess we just repeat again, hoping that they don't use the 1 ability, because it looks like they're choosing to use the other 2. Never mind. There goes all our hopes and dreams. Because this could easily just nuke us into oblivion. Oh, no. Weirdly, we're actually kind of getting a bit lucky there. Like, with order of operation, right? I almost want to heal. This is such a hard decision right here. Because they're probably going to be focusing down Tess, I would assume, first. So we want to get, like, some... we probably should have... I don't know. I don't know if there was a way for us to really win this from this position. The free hits is not something I wanted to do, but let's attack. Now, the thing here is, I think we can actually tie this game up, which isn't the worst idea in the world. Okay, so that goes bye-bye. Okay, how do we do this? So we really should not have done what I just did. Okay, we're into fatigue. This could go really, really bad. Our only hope is Fell Rain and hoping they do that again. Okay, so the fatigue betrays them. Hey, even split. I don't recognize the name, which actually doesn't tell me too much information of what they're actually playing. Most people I associate with the 1 or 2 builds that they always play because I run into them. So, oh, murlocs. Okay, well, old Merc is probably where we're gonna focus first. We're gonna slow them down too. Then we can use tail swipe there too. Swipe doesn't get rid of everything, but you know, actually not that bad. They're going after Vol'jin first, which is fine. I would love to still have the increased speed, but I know it's not always possible. Right, so that ability should be like slower no matter what, right? Then we can just tail swipe again, stack up the bleed. I know they have some healing that they could easily use here, but I knew that was going to happen, but it is what it is. At least, well, I think the bleed will actually get rid of them, right? Yeah, hey. So let's put up the taunt, because I have a sneaking suspicion if we let Sir Finley actually hit good old Wrathion. And why is that only 30 HP? Is it... That really shouldn't be 30 HP. Because, like, the damage was negated by healing? That's a really, really dumb interaction if that's the case. Even this far into Mercenaries' lifespan, I am still amazed by some of the interactions that you run into that you would never expect to run into. Let's try to get Sir Finley off the board first. I would love to be able to like use Fell Rain, but I don't think we really need to. We also really shouldn't have attacked with the eyeball because that kind of hurts us. All right, Sir Finley's gone, and then we slam down Vashj next. Oh, I was not expecting them to slam down a caster with this lineup. I mean, great news for us. Bad news for them. Let's scale up a little bit that way. They're going to be focusing her down next. Doesn't really matter too much. We're just going to AoE everything here. They're definitely not cooking up something here. We should be able to get rid of all of the mercs here, I think. Maybe not Murky. Murky might actually live. We got at least one of them gone, I guess. Or we didn't. Okay, never mind. I mean, we can still snipe, I guess, and then we can AoE, and then, I guess, swipe away again. There we go. Again, interactions in Mercs that you don't expect to work how they do, but it is what it is, because that doesn't read friendly target, so it can randomly hit one of our Mercs instead. Let's just do this. This should get rid of the entire board besides maybe Bane. Bane might actually live. Okay, maybe they... Nothing... I mean... maybe we'll get rid of something? The amount of damage we're outputting on... Oh, man. Okay. We actually did manage to do it. Okay, time for a game that is going to be an even split. And knowing this person, it is probably going to be cross, so we probably should just slam down our 3 casters, to be honest. We could be a little bit risky with Wrathion, and we might end up being it. But I think Azshara is probably the safer bet. Yeah. Hey, I was right. It is going to be a frost-based team. All right, so we're going to focus down local war and hope we can actually get him off the board on this first turn. We could also just do nothing with Vol'jin, just so we don't speed up Localar / allow him to actually scale up his damage. I think that's probably the safer bet here. So they're only going to get one hit. We're not going to be able to get rid of Localar this turn, but we should be able to get rid of him really quickly next turn. Given what their bench normally is, I think it's going to be what? Sinestra, Diablo, and... Oh, wait, no. This one's Tyrande, Bane, I think, and Sinestra. And bye-bye, Localar. So Boggy Blast, they're probably oh, they're actually going against Azshara first. Vol'jin would be my first bet, to be honest, and that's probably the safer option. Azshara allows us to heal, but we don't really technically need the healing. And it definitely is just really nice to have Vol'jin up when you have Wrathion up too. Okay, so it is Tyrande on the bench. Right, so we're going to try to hard focus down Tyrande. I know that sounds a little bit weird. We're also going to be scaling up our damage by a little bit with good old Azshara, because I'm not really worried about just do our normal second turn. AoE everything here. Say goodbye to your board, and then we just have to deal with whatever's on the bench. I'm curious of what made them skip a turn. Azshara is probably donezo. Yes, she is. Okay, so we have Wrathion now. But we could also put Lady Vashj down. I think we'll go with Wrathion because he's just quicker. And Tyrande should be gone off the board this turn. I mean, that instantly kills Tyrande. Oh, that does too. So we're just going to be able to wipe out the board. Isn't that great? Then we just have to deal with the last two on the bench, which I'm assuming, again, is going to be Sinestra and Bane. That low, wipe everything else out, wipe those out. Now we just got to deal with the last two. I mean, one could be a Sarah too, I guess. Hey, it was Sinestra. Okay. All right, so we're probably going to AoE everything here. And then AoE everything with that. And then use True Form. Because that should allow us our Wrathion to survive this turn. Oh, I guess they don't have the double effect on Bane, so I guess it won't matter too much. All right, let's get this one a-rolling. Just gotta roll. And Unleash Fell on them. That should be enough damage on the Sinestra. I really hope it is. If not, I mean, Bane should be gone no matter what. Yeah, he's just donezo. And so is our Vol'jin and Tasman. But, I mean, Wrathion is alive, and we also have Vashj, and then we also have Tess. I mean, I don't see a world where we lose this game, but you never know. Scale up the damage a little bit, and then for two abilities off of her third ability. I mean, we should be able to get it here, I think. But I'm pretty sure they're just donezo. Yep. Alright, now that we're through the games, let's discuss my final thoughts of the build. So, this build is definitely a lot stronger than the previous Wrathion team that I did put out, as it does have quite a few ways to scale up his damage. Now, previously, one of the biggest weaknesses to Wrathion was the fact that Localar does exist. However, because this team is using a lot of casters and you can easily get Localar off of the board before you slam down Wrathion, this team actually holds up quite a bit against some of the more stereotypical weaknesses of a similar Wrathion team. You'd be actually shocked of how quickly you can scale up the damage output on Wrathion through both Vashj and Azshara, which both have ways to scale up your damage. Overall, this is actually a pretty decent team, and honestly, one of the better ones that I've put out in recent memory, and quite a way to send off the game mode on the channel. Now, like always, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, bye-bye.